installing a rear bumper on a 1981 Camaro. Here Dylan is starting to remove the wing nuts that hold in the rear driver's side tail light, because you have to pull the tail lights off in order to install the bumper. Just wiggle it a little bit and then it starts to come out. And then you need to disconnect each one of the individual tail lights. One thing that I found kind of interesting about this is that not every one of them was pulled out by turning it counterclockwise. Like that last one was turned clockwise to release it. And you'll notice that he took the side marker light out there at the very end. And normally I would only show one side, but on this side, multiple of the tail lights had to be rotated clockwise to release them, and I thought that was interesting. So if you're trying to get your tail lights out and they won't release by turning counterclockwise, try clockwise. And there's the little side marker light coming out. Okay, so now I'm showing that there are tabs on the bumper support that align with tabs in the metal structure that is part of the frame of the car. So we tried putting the bumper on with the structure inside of the outer casing, and it didn't go well, so we pulled the structure out and we're attaching it separately. Now by attaching, I mean we're just inserting all of the tabs into all of the slots on the frame, and then we're pushing it on real good, and that is enough to make it stay. At least enough to stay as long as you are pushing forward on the car. I'm sure if you pull even slightly backwards, it would come out. But that enables us to put the bumper cover, or perhaps you would even call it the bumper, onto the car. I'm only showing you part of the extended process of putting this on, which I'm sure took longer because we had never done it before. But basically we slid the top over the structure and the metal support, then we slid the bottom on. And now Dylan is hand starting a select few screws, a couple on the top, and then he's going to start a couple on the bottom. And this is going to hold everything in place, so that structure can no longer come off. And then you can get serious about installing all of the bolts. There are actually 7 across the top and about 6 across the bottom. And they're all lag screws. There's no nuts to put on from the back side or anything like that. There are also these side clips that have to go on. There's 2 posts that slide in at the top, and there's also a Phillips screw that goes in at the bottom of that guy. So here Dylan is attaching nuts to the inside, on the inside of the trunk, and there he is tightening up that Phillips screw and then doing final tightening on these posts. Now we had to rethread the posts. We used a die, I guess, to put our own threads on there because the original scheme was worn out and wasn't holding. Okay, so it makes it easier to get that middle bolt if you just take the gas cap off. And now Dylan's doing final tightening across the top on all 7 of these top bolts, and I just wanted people to be able to see, what they look like from above. Don't forget to re-plug in the license plate light. And now Dylan's going to reattach all of the tail lights. Now, we talked about how some of them turn clockwise to release earlier, but when putting it back on, every single one of them, he twisted it clockwise to put it in. So I assume that turning them counterclockwise would be what would release them. One thing that I noticed when watching this video is it appears that we forgot to reinstall the side marker light on the driver's side. So then you can just take the whole tail light and kind of work it in there. There are 6 wing nuts on the inside, which are very easy to turn. And you tighten those up, and then you're done.